It's time now for Media Watch, and I'm joined here in the studio by Diptyka Laurent. Good evening to you. It's very much our top story here on France 24, the arrests of those three female terror suspects. Tell us more about what's being said online.
Well, there's a lot of focus, of course. This is the first time France is seeing female terror suspects in the throes of a very imminent attack on Gare de Lyon, a very busy train station in Paris. But what we're seeing on social media is this huge focus on the fact that they were women, even before the fact that they were terror suspects, or they are terror suspects. Just want to show you a tweet here from this user in French here, and the translation is, female terrorists are the biggest disgrace for a woman. While this tweeter says that women can also be terrorists. And Cécile de Farce says more and more women becoming terrorists. In my opinion, they must be sexually frustrated. So that's a very crass sort of summary of the situation.
Okay, and all of this happening at a time when there's a lot of debate here in France, in the world of French politics, about gender equality.
That's right, and social media users have definitely picked up on that comparison. This user says, suicide bombers who are women, that's a good thing. At least the Islamic State group is respecting this gender equality. So obviously an ironic statement there. While another person says, what do women have the right to in heaven? Obviously, we know that male suicide bombers have the right to 72 virgins. So this user is wondering what women get in return. And I just want to show you this cartoon that we saw on Twitter as well, with this woman here and in that speech bubble saying gender equality, sometimes it just sucks.
Okay, so a whole range of opinions, some of them better informed than others, perhaps.
That's right, absolutely. This one, there are people who obviously are picking up on the fact that it doesn't matter if they're women or not. The fact is that they are terror suspects planning a very big attack on Paris. That's what this user says. He says, I don't see what difference it makes that, quote unquote, the terrorist would be a man or woman. And the French newspaper La Croix also talks about this, saying for a long time the Western world has seen women in the IS group as subservient wives, baby-making machines, if you like. And this is not the case. Women are as radicalized as men. They're not just idiots or influenced by love. They can be violent, radical at any age, as we've seen with the three women arrested this week. Now, Libération even quotes the Paris prosecutor François Molins, who said last week that we've underestimated French authorities, Western authorities have underestimated the role of women. Currently, there are 59 women being held on terror charges in France, some of them very hardened, radicalized criminals.
Okay, let's move on to another story you've picked out for us. A lot of debate on social media regarding censorship, in particular, a posting by the Norwegian Prime Minister on Facebook. What's all this about?
Well, what should have been a repost of an iconic war photograph has become the center of a very furious debate around internet's censorship. It began earlier this week when Norwegian writer Tom Egeland posted this photo on his Facebook account. We see it here on The Guardian. This is that iconic photo from the Vietnam War in 1972. Featuring a naked child after a napalm bombing. Now, what happened was Facebook asked him to remove it or pixelize it. He refused, and his account was suspended. As a result, the Norwegian Prime Minister and other ministers reposted the photo on their respective accounts, and their posts were also deleted. And now they're accusing Mark Zuckerberg of, quote, editing our common history, however good the intentions may be. Now, Facebook's policy is clear. It doesn't allow for nudity, much less child nudity. But how do you distinguish between the two, and what are the limits of internet censorship? That's really the crux of the debate.
And just tell us a little briefly about what the reaction has been online then.
Well, I just want to show you a letter written from Aftenposten, which is a Norwegian newspaper. The editor-in-chief has written a letter to Mark Zuckerberg explaining why he will not comply with the requirement to remove this picture. He says that the Facebook founder has a responsibility as quote, the world's most powerful editor to make a distinction what is essentially child pornography and what is just an iconic war photograph. He even accuses him of limiting their scope on exercising editorial duties. So we see that debate really, making different layers now.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. For today's edition of Media Watch, Diptyka Laurent, thank you.